4 Tenets of World Peace Part 4, Stop Overpopulation. Chapter 1. The world has finite resources. Rat experiments and the Georgia GUID. The rodent experiments of John B. Calhoun in the 1960s observed rats in an overcrowded setting. They attacked each other sometimes, but mostly it was a breakdown of moral behavior and normal functioning. Rats couldn't cope, but they say humans can cope with overcrowding by backing off into their own enclaves. Some guy, Robert C. Christian, paid to create the Georgia GUID in Georgia, a set of 10 rules inscribed in stone. The Georgia GUID was a granite monument in Elbert County, Georgia, United States, with 10 rules chiseled into it as follows. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth, leave room for nature, leave room for nature. Somebody blew it up on July 6, 2022. They chose not to rebuild it. They say keep the human population under 500 million. Is overpopulation a serious threat to well-being? 1. Are artificial intelligence and automation going to take most of our jobs? Is that a good thing? According to Jacques Fresco of the Venus Project, machines will do all the work. We will relax and live bountiful lives. There seems to be limits to stuff available for us to live our lives. They say there are no substitutes for gold and other precious metals which are necessary for many electrical gadgets, including cell phones. Some guy said we should go into space and pull asteroids down to Earth to get the metals on them so we can build cell phones and stuff. Are there real limits, or are we intelligent enough to keep coming up with new ideas to live comfortable lives? Why would people build over 100 golf courses in Palm Springs, California, in the middle of the desert? A guy who works at a well drilling company near Fresno says they have to go down further and further to hit water. Suppose the water runs out in Southern California and Arizona. That's 50 million people in dire straits. Can we go on having babies, thinking there is enough for everyone? When they announced that India is now the most populated country in the world, it was an ego boost for them. You would think it should be the opposite. You would think we want to lower our population to make life manageable for everyone. A lot of places in the emerging nations get electricity only for a few hours a day. Is overpopulation a serious threat to well-being? 2. You got these people streaming in the United States across the southern border. How many can we take before it's a serious burden? The rental and mortgage rates are through the roof almost everywhere now because there are too many people for the housing available. UNICEF says that about 30,000 children die every single day of hunger and preventable diseases. How many people live in poverty around the world? How many people do not get electricity every day? The technology experts say that artificial intelligence and automation will eat up many jobs. They say there will be a driverless truck. That's several 100,000 more jobs gone. I think society should take care of disabled people, sick people, and old people. Overpopulation is the biggest problem on planet Earth. If people keep having babies unchecked, there will be a point where the finite resources will run out. There is not enough for everybody. If anyone tries to say there are too many people, people call you a racist or a misanthrope, which is a people hater. I think it's logic. The easiest way to solve our problems is to stop having babies and immigration, bringing so many people into the developed countries that they drag us down. They lower our quality of life. In Canada, where I live, they're making over 1 million people a year new citizens. Housing costs are high. It's harder for natives to find jobs, but nobody wants to talk about it. If our population was half of what it is now, there would be enough for everybody. Is overpopulation a serious threat to well-being? 3. Everybody is talking about climate change as a threat to human existence. If this is true, then why don't governments and big business put the brakes on economic development to slow down so we don't emit all those hydrocarbons and other pollutants into the air? The Canadian government is constantly speaking about climate change on CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, yet at the same time, I see many big apartment buildings being built, but nobody says economic development is causing climate change. Let's slow it down. Let's stop building new houses and strip malls for new people. Let's stop an influx of new people. It's a contradiction, a paradox, hypocrisy. If climate change is real, the logical thing to do is to decrease our population. Stop having babies en masse. If climate change is as real as they claim, we would aggressively try to lower our population to ease the burden of humans destroying the planet, but we don't. If the United Nations are supposed to be solving the world's problems, they would tell people to stop having babies in an aggressive way. Forget about all this human rights garbage when human survival is supposedly at stake. The United Nations was really dedicated to helping the people of the world rise above poverty and war. These two negative things would have been wiped out by now, but we still have a few very rich people and loads of poor hungry people. Their own organization, UNICEF, says about 30,000 children die every single day because of malnutrition and treatable diseases. There are well-paid people working at the UN agencies in New York and Switzerland. They're insulated from pain and suffering. The biggest problem on planet Earth is easily human population. Why don't they order the entire world to stop having babies until the human population falls below 1 billion? It's an ego trip for many countries to increase their population. This is counterintuitive to living a good quality of life. The more anywhere, the worse the quality of life. Population decrease / mass genocide? Somebody said that AIDS was created by certain elements in secret societies to decrease the population of the planet. You can read about it on AIDS conspiracy websites. The Club of Rome has a position paper in which they state that the world population is too large and needs to be reduced by 90%. Population decrease, eugenics. Eugenics is an idea to sterilize undesirable elements of society like mentally retarded people, poor people, lazy people, disabled people, etc. According to something I read, the Eugenics Society changed its name to the Society for the Study of Social Biology. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/American_eugenics_society. The Rockefeller Foundation had long financed the eugenics movement in England. With support from the Rockefellers, the Eugenics Society, England, set up a subcommittee called the International Planned Parenthood Federation, which for 12 years had no other address than the Eugenics Society. Overpopulation websites: popcouncil.org, unfpa.org, populationactivities.populationsecurity.org, population-issues.rand.org/research_areas/population/overpopulation.com, populationconnection.org, 800-767-1956 populationinstitute.org, 800-787-0038 prb.org, populationreferencebureau.undp.org, population development. earthdirectory.net/population, the World Directory of Population, Demography, and Immigration Organizations. numbersusa.com/content/files/pdf/retreat2.pdf, the Environmental Movement's Retreat from Advocating U.S. Population Stabilization, 1970-1998. visualcapitalist.com/visualizing-the-world's-top-plastic-emitting-rivers, top plastic-emitting rivers. visualcapitalist.com/mapped-the-median-age-of-every-continent, the median age of the population on every continent. frostywooldridge.com/overpop/overpop.html, overpopulation, why bring in people to compete with our citizens for jobs and use our finite resources? Zero population growth 1400 16th St. NW number 320 Washington, DC 2003620-332-2200 zpg.org